Alright guys, so now that we can display our posts, I think the next thing I want to do is work on the delete. So we're going to have to add a post action. So let's go to our post actions file and let's go down right above the set post loading, and we're going to say delete post. Alright, and I'm just going to copy, let's just copy add post. You can see it starts to get pretty repetitive. So we'll say delete post, and it's going to take in an ID because it needs to know which post to delete. And then we're going to do an axios.delete request to API/posts/ID. Now I'm going to use backticks here so that we can use our variable without concatenating. And let's see, it's going to take in nothing because the ID is actually in the endpoint. And then let's dispatch delete post, and we're going to send the payload, but we're not going to send res.data. We're actually going to send the ID. Okay, because in our reducer we're going to want to delete the post locally. Down here we'll just keep get errors, okay, if there's any errors. So we need to bring in delete post. Okay, we'll save that. I would definitely recommend using Prettier if you're not using it. It makes things much easier as far as formatting and all that. You don't have to worry about everything, every little thing. All right, so now that we have that, let's go to our reducer. Yeah, let's go to post reducer, and let's bring in delete posts. We'll bring it in right here. So delete underscore post. Oops, get an extra comma. And we'll add this down here. So we'll say case delete post, and we want to return the initial state. Now we want to take the post array, and we're gonna delete the post that is whatever the ID is, okay, that's passed in. Remember, the ID is coming in through the payload. So we're gonna use filter for this. We're gonna say state.post, which is the post array, and then we're gonna filter, and we're gonna pass in, we're gonna use post for each one, and we want to say if post._ID is not equal to action.payload, which is the post we want to delete, okay, and it'll return false for that. So what that'll do is it'll delete it locally, so it does it very fast in the UI. It doesn't have to actually, you know, we're not going to just reload the page with that post deleted. In some cases we are doing stuff like that, but in this case it's easy enough to just delete it like right from the state. So let's save that, and it's still we still have an immutable state, okay, where we're using filter, and we're just returning false if this is true right here. So let's go back to our post item, and let's bring in we'll bring in that action, which is delete post. So we'll say import delete post from actions/post actions, and of course we need to add that down here. And we also need to add it to our props, prop types. Okay, and then we want to call that obviously in the on delete click. Okay, so we'll just go ahead and get rid of this and say this.props.delete post, and it takes in the ID. All right, let's save that and let's try it. So I'm going to just create a dummy post. I'll just say test, or this is a test to delete. Okay, now if I click the delete, it's gone. Okay, and it's gone very fast, and you can see it fired off the delete post action. If I reload, it's still gone. All right, so now let's work on the likes. Okay, we want to like and unlike. Now we're going to need actions for that, because remember we created an endpoint in our back end to like and unlike. So let's go to our post actions, and let's go right here. We'll say add like. So we'll say, actually I'll just copy this. So this is going to be called add like, and it'll be passed in an ID. It needs to know which post to like. Then we're going to make an Axios.post request to API/post/like/ID. Okay, and that'll be the post ID. Now, if it goes okay, if it goes okay and it actually adds the like, and what I mean by that is it adds the user to the likes array, then all I'm going to do is dispatch the get posts function, which we put above, which just gets the posts back. Okay, so let's just do. Actually, we could just delete this object, and we can actually just call get posts, which is above. All right, we'll put this all in one line, like that, and then if there's errors, we'll go ahead and get those errors and we'll pass them in as the payload. So that's the add like. We might as well add the remove like because it's very similar. So I'm just going to copy this, and we'll say remove like. We'll call this remove like ID, make a post request, except this time it's going to go to unlike/ID. And same thing, we're just going to reload the posts afterwards. All right, so let's save this. And let's go back to post item. We're going to bring in those two actions, add like and remove like. We're going to add those down here. And we'll also add those here as well. All right. And then what we want to do is let's go to the like button, which is this one with thumbs up, and we're going to add a click handler. So we're going to say on click, we want to call this dot on like click, and we're going to just bind this. And then we also want to bind the post ID. So let's say post._ID. All right, and then what we'll do is also, I'm just going to copy this whole on click and add it to the dislike or the unlike button, which is right here, except we're going to call on unlike click. Or unlike click. Let's do lowercase l though, like that. All right, so that will also take in the user ID. So now we're going to create those up here. Okay, both of these are going to take in an ID. And then we just want to call in here this dot props dot what do we call it, add like, and we're going to pass in the ID. And then with this one, we're just going to call unlike and pass in the ID. Okay, and that should actually add the likes, hopefully. So let's go to our app, and let's see. It's okay. I'm going to say that it's okay to like your own posts as well. But let's click on this, and there we go. Now notice it does do kind of a little flash because we're getting the post back, and it's re-rendering the posts. So let's click the dislike. Unlike is not a function. Oh, it's because it's remove like, not unlike. Right here, remove like. Let's try that. All right, so I'll reload. We have one like here. Let's unlike. Good. And if I like something and I click it again, notice that it's not working. If we look at our state and we look in errors, it says user already liked this post. All right, so that works perfectly. Now, one thing I want is if we've liked the post, I want the icon to be green like this. If not, then I want it to be gray. So that's why we brought in class names earlier. Now, before we can implement that, we need to actually find out if the user liked that particular post. So we're going to create a function here, and we're going to call find user like. And it's going to take in likes. Oops. All right, and then what we're going to do is we're going to grab the auth state property from this dot props. Okay, and there's quite a few ways to do this, but we're going to use filter. So we're going to say if likes dot filter, and for each one we'll say like, and then we just want to basically check to see if the user is in that array. So we'll say like dot user. Remember, likes is an array and it has the user inside. We want to see if it equals the auth dot user dot id, which is the logged in user, and we want to see if the length of that is greater than 0. If that's true, then that means that the user has liked it. Okay, so we want to say return true. Then we want to do an else, and we're going to say return false. All right, now we want to implement this, so we're going to go down here, and let's see, where are we? So this is the like button, right? And then this is the icon. And what makes it green, what makes this icon green, is this text info class. So that's what we want to make dynamic. So we always want this class. And you guys should remember how to use this class names. Actually, we just want to replace this. So we're going to say class name equals class names. We're going to pass in the initial classes that we always want, which is FAS and FA dash thumbs dash up, and then we want a second parameter, and we want to put in an object, and then we want to put the class, which is text info. Okay, that's what makes it green, and then the condition to that is going to be this dot find user like, and we want to pass in post dot likes. We just want to pass in the likes array. All right, and we don't want that semicolon. All right, so it's looking at this function, passing in the likes, and that what that function does is it checks to see if that user is actually in the likes array. All right, and if it is, then this text info class will be applied. That means the thumbs up will be green. If not, it'll be standard gray. So let's save that. I don't believe there's anything else we need to do. I don't know why it pushes us way back up. But let's go back to our app. And look at that. The one that we liked is green. The other ones aren't. If I unlike, it goes back to gray. If I like this one, it turns green. So that's what we want. All right, so this is really coming together. The last thing that we want to do here is we want to be able to click on comments, and that's basically going to take us to the single post page where it will just have this post, and then under it it'll have a comment form which will look just like this, and then all the comments that pertain to that post. So it's like a very, very simple version of Stack Overflow. All right, where you have, each question, and then you click on, you can view the question, you can see all the answers, you can also answer yourself, okay, and also you can delete your own post. So that's what we'll get to next, guys. Hopefully you're enjoying this course. We're almost there. Once we're done, we'll deploy, and that'll be it. So I will see you in the next video.